Alright, Archie versus... Oh, actually, this is a good starting point. This will be the perfect nitpick to open the video with to make people turn it off because they think that I have the wrong priorities. This is Archie versus the Army of Darkness. And that really, really unbelievably irritates me because it's just Army of Darkness. There's no the. The movie, it's Army of Darkness. Anyway, to continue the unlikable pedant shtick, there are two components of any comic review, or there should be. One is the part you are very familiar with, discussing the story and the artwork, talking about the content itself. The other part is the product or the manufacture. Not many people talk about that in reviews because a lot of the time it is to an acceptable standard. I'm not doing this for fun or for a laugh. This is shit. This is one of the worst quality comics I have in my house. And I have ones that are held together with scotch tape. The paper quality is poor. In terms of strength, it's even worse than the stuff that Marvel were using 10 years ago. The one thing that it has over that period of Marvel paper stock is that the ink isn't running. You don't get ink on your hands from reading a comic. It has, or it tries to have, a cardstock cover, and that is quite low quality too. But I think what makes it worse is the two inferior materials that make up this package do not work in harmony at all. The paper is so weak and flimsy that all it can do is follow and hinge with the below average cars. This is Dynamite. This is published by Dynamite. I should have said that at the top. I want to believe Archie would do better. The thing is, my feelings on the physical product are the big negative of the offering. And most people now are more likely to either read it on digital or more likely pirate it. And absolutely indecorous items like this justify and validate piracy. Okay, right, so we have a fun cover. Archie on the movie poster, Veronica too, and Betty and Jughead, they are deadites. And you've got the little Archies at Archie's foot. It's a very fun cover. It was the cover that sold me this comic. We have the simplistic, iconic Archie face on one of the most recognisable and legitimately great movie hero posters. The credits... Oh, fuck's sakes. See what I mean? Gotta do that again then. I am going to have to insert a cutaway here. I don't know of what. Because I have gone through at least 10 takes now of trying to open this comic and not having the entire comic open with the cover. We have... Oh, fuck's sake. Then we have the credits. There, this is a take I'm using. I'm having to use this. We have the credits here. Erik, Burnham, and art by Bill Galvan. Erik Burnham... Fuck's sake. We have... So, let's talk about the credits. We have writing Erik Burnham with art by Bill Galvan. Erik Burnham He is a known entity in my comic collection. A recent entry from the last year and change. He is the writer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures, which I have now read most of, and it is a lot of fun. And I do want to try and find time to review it, but people don't like me talking about the green pets. So I can't go and review another TMNT series. He has loads of credits with other Turtles books. One's in the main IDW continuity, Battle Nexus, which I am reviewing. From all examples, he seems to be a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it shows in that he writes a variety of very different Turtle stories. He wrote another Army of Darkness crossover though, with Army of Darkness and Reanimator. They called it The Army of Darkness again there too. Fucking pack it in. There's no the. And there's meant to be a hyphen between Re and Animator. Now, we are big Barbara Crampton fans over here in the Son of Capwolf corner of YouTube. And I must disappoint you all by letting you know she does not appear in Army of Darkness versus Reanimator. This feels like the longest setup ever. I'm sorry. Our artist is Bill Galvan. Most of his work has been at Archie on Archie books, but, you know, I would be able to pull a random Marvel credit. Jeff Parkman's Century miniseries, that was stories with Century through different eras of and styles from comic history. The cover artist isn't credited. I'm sure if Alec Rose did the cover, his name would be all over the place. But our cover is by Robert Ack. He is maybe a bigger name in modern Archie circles, and part of the reason I am mentioning him is to provide one little bit of additional thing related to something I said in the haul video yesterday. Robert Ack did the art for Archie vs Predator 2. We are finally onto the comic, the actual review, and it starts off strong. Reggie has invited the gang to a party. He is throwing a cabin in the woods that his parents own. And say what you want about Riverdale, the show, I kind of felt reasonably familiar with the broad personalities of most of these characters. Archie trips up, and this causes him to discover a secret staircase leading down to a creepy basement area where he and the crew find the Necronomicon. Archie immediately reads out an incantation, and after a spread of Thundercats adverts, Deadites start converging on the party. Moose dies. He dies straight away. Poor Midge. And we have the Three Stooges eye poke with this guy. He is in the band that are playing. I don't know if he's actually an Archie character or if he's just incidental. So far, this is an excellent comic. Well, the story is. It has wonderfully married these two jarring things together. It initially sounds like a joke premise. Archie and Army of Darkness. Archie of Darkness. They should have used that pun for the title, although they would have called it The Archie of Darkness. But Archie and Army of Darkness, it's like two things that blatantly don't go together. Archie is the awesome, all-American teen comic. And then The Evil Dead was one of the original video nasties that were banned over here. When you get past the surface, the thing is that, tonally, the two work effortlessly together. Archie is a bit corny and dated, and Army of Darkness is a wild throwback to add slapstick comedy. I've two other things I wanted to mention though. First is, yes, I am aware of Afterlife with Archie. And the other is that there's a couple of Marvel comics that are Army of Darkness related. Marvel Zombies 3. That is basically a straight up Army of Darkness pastiche with C-3PO as Bruce Campbell. But underneath the parody, there is actually some decent writing of his relationship with Fembot. Then, there is an actual full-on Army of Darkness crossover that Marvel haven't been able to reprint since it originally came out. That one throws Ash into the Marvel Universe, but it is the Marvel Universe of the original Robert Kirkham Marvel Zombies. Not the same Marvel Zombies as Marvel Zombies 3. The Marvel Zombies continuity is weird. Marvel Zombies 3, onwards for a bit, they are nearly all in continuity. They have canon characters like C-3PO or Fembot interact with the Marvel Zombies world or the Marvel Zombies virus crossing over. The important thing is that Ash Williams fancied Amanda the Enchanter. I wanted to let this bit of the video run a bit longer. It's the positive section of this video. I do really like this first bit. We now jump back to a month earlier. That excellent writing trope. And likely, speaking more to my lack of Archie reading, I felt like Betty and Veronica were being written infantilized here. They're excited for toy dogs like 8-year-old girls. We get a lot of this flashback, and the flashback is more your typical Archie type of thing. Archie, he has to get another job to afford getting Veronica the toy. And he ends up getting a job at the S-Mart. And so he is working with Ash Williams himself. Here is my criticism. Ash Williams is an entertaining character. He's a big part of the entire appeal of the second and third movies. Without Bruce Campbell, they would be a lot less fun. I mean, just look at the last two Evil Dead movies to see how funless it can be. With this, though, I feel he isn't that necessary. I think the charm in Archie versus Army of Darkness is you have the characters, the Archie cast, that are as perfectly formed as Ash Williams to throw into these situations. Maybe some people disagree, and I'm not the biggest fan of any of the Evil Dead movies anyway. But I think that Archie Andrews is a character that is as larger than life as Ash Williams. I think you can do this without Ash. You don't need him. You've got Archie, you've got Betty, you've got Veronica, you've got Jughead, you've got Reggie. They work the same way that Ash works in the movies. Ash is a limited character too. When he was interacting with the Marvel characters, for example, it boils down to him being orny or him being a bit dense. And in print, you are losing about 97% of the character without the Bruce Campbell performance. For me, I was really into the idea and the first half. And when we did the flashback, and in this part, Ash, he is the only thing really linking it to the central premise. It felt disappointing. We only got 2 pages of Deadites going mental and killing people. And other than Archie and Ash in this scene, we don't get to see the main Archie cast interact that much with the world of Army of Darkness. And there is a very lackluster cliffhanger ending. Evil Ash in a mirror. I thought to end this video on a better note than that cliffhanger, I could suggest some ideas I have had for future Archie crossovers like this one. Archie versus Shrek. Archie meets the Fellowship of the Ring. Riverdale versus Rivendell. Archie versus the Smashing Pumpkins. Archie versus Time Cop. Archie versus the Kids in the Hall. Archie meets Oswald Mosley. Archie versus Space Jam. Archie versus Hassan Piker. Archie meets Iggy Azalea. Archie versus Alf. They might have already done that one. Archie v Coronation Street. Archie meets George Floyd. Archie versus the Warriors. Archie x Seinfeld. Archie versus Big Mama's House. Archie versus the RSPCA. Archie and Morty. Archie meets Jeffrey Epstein. Archie versus Spy versus Spy. Archie versus Dante's Inferno. Actually, that could be good. I would unironically look at that. Archie meets the Vid Kids. Archie does Dallas. Archie versus Dilbert Reborn. Archie and Lilibeth. Archie meets Daphne and Celeste. Archie versus 12 Years a Slave. Archie versus Alan Partridge. Archie meets Die Hard. Archie versus Thomas the Tank Engine. Betty and Veronica's Closet. Archie versus the Chocolate Rain guy. Archie meets Nadia from Big Brother Series 5. Archie versus Austin Powers. Archie versus Better Call Saul. Archie meets The Whale. Archie versus Columbo. Afterlife with Archie versus Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. Archie meets Diva Fever. Archie versus Jenny McCarthy. Archie versus Pikachu. Archie versus Trouble. Archie versus Frasier. Archie meets Skeletor. Archie versus Hamburger Jones. Archie versus the Village People. I was also considering Archie joins the Village People. Clive Barker's Archie versus Nightbreed versus Rawhead Rex. Black Widow eats Archie. I can't even fucking shut it. I imagine this was designed to be a fun trade paperback. You get it for someone who likes Army of Darkness. It's a zany mashup idea. And when it's all printed together, you don't really notice that the first issue seriously didn't deliver enough on the promise. That first half is so great though. They nailed it. The wacky deadite violence, the whiplash between Archie and that, the goofiness of both these IP marrying up. Don't know what to say to end this. Those first few pages, I loved them. Pirate them maybe, or wait for the trade and pirate that. Definitely don't get a physical copy of the issue. 7 thumbs up.